As I sit here and I look at their schedule, these boys got some problems here, Skip. You've got Philadelphia on the road. After that, Detroit on the road. Those are two possible losses. I believe one definitely. One or the other. Yeah. You ain't winning both of those games, okay? So let's say for the sake of argument, you're going to be 4-4, right? Then I'm thinking you're going to be 5-5 because I don't believe you're going to beat Minnesota and then go on the road and beat New Orleans. You're probably going to lose that game in New Orleans. So I'm looking at you after 10 games, you're going to be 5-5. Now, obviously, it's the NFC East, so anything could happen and it's all up for grabs. But it certainly gives the indication that once again, the Dallas Cowboys are not what many people expected them to be this year.
Even you.
Huh? Oh, no, they're what I expected them to be. They're what I expected them to be. They're right where I expected them to be.
He managed it.
They're right where I expected them to be.
Okay, I remind you, you swung from one day saying they have the talent to be in the NFC Championship game.
I've always said that. I think the Dallas Cowboys have the talent to be in the championship game. I think they have the talent to win a Super Bowl. They find ways to get in their own way. That's the only argument that I've ever made. I've never questioned their talent. As individuals, there's a whole bunch of guys in their squad that you wouldn't mind peeling off their roster and putting on your own because they have some ballers. But collectively, whether it's because of Jerry Jones and the influence that just disintegrates on downward, it just doesn't matter. They find a way to get in their own way, but they will make their money and they will be the hype machine because they are Jerry Jones boys.
I'm hanging in with Dallas making the playoffs. I realize they are in not just trouble. I agree with both of you. They're in big trouble. I said they would be a wild card team, so I'm in big trouble with that prediction for sure. But to your point about the secondary, remember, in 3 of the first 5 games, they allowed 400-plus yard passers. And yet on Sunday night on NBC, Chris Collinsworth, and I love Chris Collinsworth, was raving about how Brandon Carr had taken over the game, and he was single-handedly winning the game with the job that he did on Pierre Garçon. Okay? That was that game. But as you point out, you are on the road now 4 of the next 5, and it's hard for me to make a case that you're going to win without DeMarcus and DeMarco at Philly. Now, Jerome could maybe speak to this. I don't know if you've checked him out at all. Their 5th-round pick the other night, Joseph Randle, the kid from Oklahoma State, he looked pretty good to me. He's got some guts. He's got some quickness. He was attacking. So can he stand in for DeMarco and make a little bit of a wave in a run game at Philly? Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit, but maybe not enough. Miles Austin came back the other night, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, here he goes. And he has 0 catches in that game coming off his hamstring pull. So I look down the rest of the schedule, and I say, okay, where are my gimmies? Where am I just going to give them at home? I'm going to give them the Vikings at home, and I'm going to give them the Raiders at home. The other game I started to give them at home is the very last game, the finale. It's the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Could that be for all the NFC East marbles? It could be. And what happened 1 year ago in the final home game for all the marbles against the Washington Redskins? My little man, Tony Romo, threw 3 interceptions, including 1 late killer interception. Do I trust them to beat the Eagles at home to win the division? I don't know. I don't think so.
These next 3 or 4 weeks are going to be critical for them to have any chance of making the playoffs, because if they don't, if they take a slide, a 3 or 4 game slide, I don't believe this team can recover because you don't have the pieces to recover with. You don't have a dominating defense when everybody gets healthy. I
think they'll go into the game against the Giants on November 24th. I believe they go into that game 5-5. We'll see what happens from there, but I will tell you,
the Giants won't be any cakewalk for them.
Divisional games are always going to be difficult.
But here's the issue, and this is where it's going to get interesting, fellas. As this season progresses and this team struggles, let me tell you something right now. We've consistently pointed the finger at the players. This one more than ever before is going to be on Jerry Jones. And the reason it's going to be on Jerry Jones is because of some of the changes that you made and some of the ones you refused to make. You insisted on keeping Jason Garrett. You insisted on letting go of Rob Ryan. You insisted on bringing on board Monty Kiffin. So the combination
you insisted on giving Tony Romo
$55 million guarantee. So doing all of these things, I mean, the finger's pointed directly at the owner on this one.